everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's nice to see you again. So how are you? How did you celebrate the All Saints Day? I see. Okay. For this video, we will have already our fourth lesson for the first quarter. Be reminded that the first quarter has 7 lessons. So we are almost done with the first quarter. I hope that somehow my videos are helping you to understand better the lessons that you have in your modules. Please bear with me if I speak in English. Well, you have no choice because this subject is English. Okay? Now, are you ready for our fourth lesson? Well then, let's begin. Alright, let us have our lesson now in English 7. Okay, so this is English 7. English 7, Quarter 1, Week 4. So we are still using the learning activity sheet for the 4th week. Now, for this week's lesson, our learning competency is to use the past and perfect tenses correctly in varied contexts. Remember last time when we talked about active and passive voice, I was already able to introduce to you or to help you recall the different tenses of verbs. So somehow you have already an idea and somehow you were already reviewed. And most likely I am expecting that you will perhaps take this lesson lightly. I hope so. So our lesson is about using past and past perfect tenses correctly in varied contexts. So keywords, past and perfect tenses. Remember, we have 12 tenses of verbs. So for this week, we will just be dealing with the past, the simple past, and the past perfect tenses. And we will make sure that we will use these verbs correctly. Okay? It's not enough that you know how to use them. You must know how to use them the right way or correctly. And of course, you must be able to adjust in different contexts or situations. It says here, securing accurate and correct details is very important in communication. Definitely. We understand each other's messages and ideas better if the details provided to us are true and correct. That's true. This is especially true when we are narrating or stating an event. So when we are stating an event or we are telling a story, we make sure that what we are telling are just facts. Okay? We avoid providing fake news. And it's very important in a narrative that our time element is correct. Okay? It's very important. It tells us the real picture behind our story. So when we say time element, it talks about the tense of verb. Because when we deal with tense of verb, we are referring to the time or to the aspect. So when we narrate a story, we make sure that the time of the story that we are talking about is correctly used or mentioned. So talking about tense, you can see here, tense is defined as the phenomenon that is used as a grammatical means to indicate time and aspect, just like what I mentioned a while ago. So there are 12 tenses. To help you recall, we have simple present, simple past, simple future, present progressive, past progressive, future progressive. 6 already. Then we have the perfect tenses, present perfect, past perfect, future perfect, present perfect progressive, past perfect progressive, and future perfect progressive. How many? 6 again. So we have 6 plus 6, we have 12. But we will just deal with the simple past and the past perfect tenses. Okay? Now let's talk about these two. It's very important that you know how to use these two correctly. Maybe you are not aware that maybe during conversing in English, you are already using them, but you are unaware about the rules, the correct rules on how to apply them. So this lesson will help you understand it better. So let's first deal with the simple past. So when we say simple past, it's an action that has been completed in the past. It was done already in the past. So it could be an action or a condition that happened in the past. Past is past. Alright? So you can see here a timeline. So timeline of an action. So we are here at the present. So there were actions that had happened in the past already, past tense, and there will be actions that will happen in the future tense. So our focus is past tense. We are at the present and the things already occurred or took place in the past. In vernacular, nangyari na. Okay? So how do we formulate this? We have two kinds of verbs according to forms. We have the regular verbs and we have the irregular verbs. It is very important that you memorize the list, the different verbs and their different forms. This will help you understand this one much easier. Okay? So when we say regular, these are the basic ones. So if a verb is a regular one, and if we make it in its past form, if we transform it in its past form, all we have to do is to add D or ED, as easy as that. Example, Piolo survived the earthquake that hit their town. So there was an earthquake in the past. Now the verb is survive. To make it past, we just simply added D. Okay? So survive plus D, survived, since it's just a regular verb. Another is walk. The man walked towards the building. So the action took place already in the past, perhaps yesterday or the other day, and the main verb is walk. Since it must be in its past form, then we cannot just simply add D. Oh, that sounds so jeje. So we will add ed. So we could say here, if the verb ends with a vowel, we simply add D. If the regular verb ends with a consonant, we add ed. That's for a regular, I repeat, regular verb. Now when it comes to the irregular verb, this one is tricky. So it's not just we simply add D or ed. Here we actually change the spelling of the verb. Alright? Let me give some example. So afraid to catch a cold, Susie drank a lot of water. Again, the action happened in the past. Now the main verb is drank. We're talking about Susie. So because she was afraid to catch a cold, she drank water. Now the simple form of drank, the present form is drink, right? Let me write it. So drink. We cannot apply here the rule for irregular verb. It will become ungrammatical. We cannot simply add ed, drinked or drinked. That's ungrammatical. So since this one is an irregular verb, what we will do is we will change its spelling. So we will convert it to drank. Drink to drank. That is for the simple past. Later on, you will realize the past perfect form, or the past participle form, I should say. We're talking about the present form. Okay? The next one is the eagle flew to the mountains to escape the hunters. Again, the action took place in the past. The main verb is flew. So who flew? It's the eagle, meaning to say fly but already happened in the past. Okay? So we cannot, the same rule with drink, we cannot simply add D or ed to the verb fly. We cannot say flied. It's ungrammatical. Okay? So instead, we will change its spelling from fly, it will become flew. Okay? Just like the, what was that? Okay, nothing. Let's continue. Now, when it comes to past perfect tense, it's different. So listen carefully and pay attention to our presentation. So you could see here, we use past perfect to talk about a completed action. Same as with past tense, there is a completed action. The only difference is there was a completed action or condition before another action or condition in the past. So this time, we use past perfect tense if there are two past actions or past conditions that had happened or that took place. Okay? Now, what's the purpose of using past perfect? It is for us to know which between the two past actions was completed first. So there are two past actions, And we use past perfect to identify which between the two was completed first. How do we do it? For the past perfect, actually past perfect is the past action which took place before another past action. And we do it by using, okay, the auxiliary verb had. Always it's had. Whether it's singular or plural, we always use had. Unlike in present tense, we use either has or have depending upon the subject. But in past perfect, we just simply use had. Had, and then the past participle. Take note, it is the past participle form, not the simple past form. Do you get me? Okay. Later on, I will help you on this. I will show here list of regular verbs and irregular verbs in their present, past, and past perfect or past participle form. Example: when Mike went to his home, he had bought a pizza for his family. Take note, what are the two past actions? By the way, we have here the timeline. So we are here at the present, something will happen in the future, and then before the present, there were two past actions. And it was the past perfect which was completed first before the other past action. Remember that. So in this given example, there are two past actions. One is Mike went to his home. So it happened already. Mike is already at home. He went somewhere else and then he came back. So he went home. So it's a past action. Another past action is that he went outside and then he bought pizza. He came back and he bought pizza for his family. Now these are the two past actions. Going back home and buying pizza. Went home, bought pizza. Now which between the two was completed first? It was had bought a pizza. So before he came back to his house, there's a mosquito. I might have dengue. Let me kill it. Okay, I killed it. So we're safe from dengue. So before he came back home, he first bought pizza. That's why we use had. So two past actions, buying and coming home. All are done already, but buying happened first. Well, of course, you cannot buy pizza if you will come home first. So you buy pizza first and then you go home. Two past actions. Get it? Another is that John had written his letter of resignation before his boss arrived. Okay. Again, we have two past actions. The boss arrived and written resignation letter. All happened in the past already, done already. Now, which happened first? When the boss arrived, or when he wrote his resignation letter? Considering the form, it's the writing of the letter. So here, John wrote first his resignation letter. He's done already with his resignation letter. He had written already his resignation letter when or before his boss arrived. So when the boss arrived, he was done already writing his letter of resignation. So perhaps he could give it already to the boss. So all two actions happened in the past. Writing the letter took place first or was completed first before completing the arrival of the boss. Okay? Now I have here a list of regular verbs so that this will help you understand this lesson better or easier. So all you have to do is to review this. Actually, these are just common regular verbs. You can search the internet and look for other verbs. So you can pause this video and check on these particular verbs. Remember, you have to remember this so that you don't write ungrammatical sentences. Another is, I have here list of irregular verbs. Again, these are just common irregular verbs. You can also search the internet and look for other irregular verbs. This will help you identify what to use in a simple past tense and what to use in a past perfect tense. For simple past, we use the one, the column in color blue. So this one. Awake becomes awoke. Be is was or were, depending upon the singularity or the plurality of the subject. And then beat, and then became, began, it's letter A, remember, begin, and then began, bent, bet, bid, and so on. Other irregular verbs don't change spelling. Just like heat, you don't say heated. You don't say putted for put. It stays with its form. Hit, hit, hit. put. Okay? On the other hand, if we use the past perfect, this will help you later on. If we use the past perfect, this must be the verbs paired with the modal had, or the auxiliary verb had. I'm sorry. Okay? Had awoken, had been, had bitten, had become, had begun. It's you, not began. It's begun. So begin, began, begun. Had bent, had bet, had bid, had bitten, had blown, had broken. Okay? And then we have this one. You can pause the video and remember these sets of irregular verbs. Again, these are just common irregular and common regular verbs. You can surf the internet or look for your previous grammar books and check on the different forms of the verb. Okay? Now let us have our activities. Activity A. Complete the table by writing the past and past perfect tense of the verbs. So the previous video the previous activity can help you unless the verbs are not included there. So let me just help you here. Use. This one is a regular verb. So we just simply add D since it ends with a vowel. So used and then used. This one is also a regular verb. So protected. So we will just add ed, protected, and then protected. Okay, sorry for my penmanship. Number 6 is an example of a regular verb. It's for you to discover. Okay. Next, letter B. Read the following news article. Underline the verbs in the past tense. So we will look for the past and we will underline them. Okay. City Mayor Rex Gatchalian has lauded city residents for their discipline that he said helped the local government. So we have said and then we have helped. Okay. And then there's another one. I will not point. There's another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there are 4 more here. 4 more. So it's for you to find them out. Next, letter C. Read the following passage and circle the verbs in the past perfect. So encircle the past perfect. One warm July night, Julio was writing a letter to, of all people, his landlord, Caponso. It was about his son Jose who wanted to go to school in Mansalay, the town where Caponso lived. They had moved here to the island of Mindoro about a year ago because Julio had been unable to find any land of his own. So it's for you to discover the other past perfect. We have the auxiliary verb had, and then we have the past participle verb move. Okay, letter D. Provide the past tense of the verb in the sentences below. Write your answers on the blank. The Department of Education provide various means for learners to learn during the pandemic. So these are just simple past tense. So it's either you add D or ED or you change the spelling just like for irregular verb. So here I'll just add D. Provided. Voiced. Okay, it's for you to answer the other. Okay? Take note, sometimes when we change the verb into its past form, sometimes we change the letter, sometimes we add a letter before ed or before d. Okay, take note on that rule. There's another mosquito here. Let's kill it. Okay, we're safe from dengue. Next, letter F. Rewrite the words to create. I'm sorry, there's another one. Letter E. Okay. After D, we have E. So this time it's past perfect. So we will add had and then the past participle of the verb in the parentheses. Okay. When I arrived at my first class, the teacher started the lecture. So here we have had and then started. So we have two past actions, starting the lecture and arriving at class. Which happened first? Okay. Before I arrived already. It's an action in the past. I am here already. I arrived already, but when I arrived, the teacher had already started the lecture. So he was already teaching when I arrived. Two past actions, one was completed first before the other one. Letter F. Damn mosquito. bad mosquito. Sorry for the bad word. Okay, and I killed it. Goodbye, mosquito. Letter F. Okay, you have to rewrite the words. These are jumbled words, and then make sure that you use the correct past tense. So this is for past tense, not past perfect. Past tense. The doctor. Okay. So the verbs are not in past, so we will make them past form. Then we will rearrange the sentences. So number 1, the doctor noticed the staff's hard work. Okay. And then you continue the other sentences. Letter G. So we have to combine the two sentences in each item into just one sentence by using the past perfect tense. This time it's past perfect tense. A while ago it was just simple past. Write your answer in the space provided. So we have here spaces below each item. An example has been given to you. The person isolates himself in his house. Later, the health officials arrive to bring him to the quarantine site. So you would say the person had because it happened first, had isolated himself before the health officials arrived to bring him to the quarantine site. So we have two verbs here. So we changed this one and made it in past perfect because it was completed first before the other past action. For number 1, she asked the officials for some food, then she went home. So which will happen first? Which happened first? Going home or asking food? Definitely you cannot ask food if you're home already. So it's asking food. So you would say, she had asked the officials for some food before, okay, we use before, or we use when. Most likely we use before. Before she went home. Okay? Before she went home. And then you answer the following items. Letter H. Answer the following questions with complete sentences. Make sure to use verbs in the past or perfect tense. So it's either past or either past perfect. It depends upon your decision. Write your answers on the boxes provided. What are the lessons that you have learned while experiencing community quarantine? So it's your personal answer. No wrong answer. Just make sure you follow the form of past or past perfect. Understood? Letter I. Write a narrative paragraph about the things that you had missed during the pandemic. There are many things that we were not able to do because of the pandemic. So what are these things that you had missed? Use past and past perfect tenses in your answer. Write your narrative paragraph on the box. So it could be 1 paragraph or 2 paragraphs, 3 to 5 sentences maybe. Why are there so many mosquitoes in my office? I'm sorry. Okay. So in writing your paragraph, here are the things to consider. Structure, make sure your sentence structure is correct. Grammar, choice of words, and content. And for the reflection, just read and then answer whether it's always, sometimes, or never. Just be honest, okay? I know the structure of past and past perfect tenses of verb. I taught it already, so you would say always. Here. Okay, there you have it. Our 4th lesson for the first quarter. It's all about past and past perfect tense. I hope somehow I was able to help you in this video lesson. In case you find it difficult to understand it, you can repeat my video over and over again until such time that you understand it already. Okay, do not forget to add me in my accounts, Instagram and Twitter, that's @StiffSpear, my Facebook account, SteveSP, and of course, subscribe in my channel so that you will be updated in the different videos that I am uploading. That's in Steve Spear's vlog. Alright, have a nice day. Bye-bye. See you again next week.